Biden administration releasing its review, 12 pages of the Afghanistan withdrawal, and a last-minute news dump. I mean, they got 10 minutes to read through it, did the press corps. The 12-page summary repeatedly placing blame on President Trump, saying in part President Biden's choice for how to execute a withdrawal from Afghanistan were severely constrained by conditions created by his predecessor. But National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby still says there's a lot to be proud of.
There were children being killed. There were people hanging off of Air Force jets that were leaving. And you're saying that you guys are proud of the way that this mission was conducted?
Nobody's saying that everything was perfect, but there was a lot that went right. So yeah, there's a lot to be proud of. For all this talk of chaos, I just didn't see it. Not from my perch. It was tough in the first few hours. You would expect it to be.
Astounding. Here to react, retired four-star general, Fox News senior strategic analyst, General Jack Keane. General, he said, this is the plan I got. I did the best I could, and I'm proud of it. Your thoughts?
Well, first of all, yes, President Trump had announced that he fully intended to withdraw from Afghanistan. We don't know what his final decision would have been, and we don't know what kind of conditions he would have set if he continued to make that decision to withdraw. I'm assuming there would have been some pretty significant conditions, but he wasn't the president. We don't know that for a fact. So when you look at what was facing President Biden, all of his military leaders, to include the on-scene commander, all of the NATO countries who had troops in Afghanistan, some 7,000, the CIA director, all were telling him to stay. It was uncertain what would happen to the Afghan security forces and the government, but the certainty was ISIS and al-Qaeda will rise again in Afghanistan. The reason we wanted to stay in Afghanistan was to make certain that that did not happen. Our NATO allies didn't want to stay because it was in the interest of the United States. Those NATO countries wanted to stay and keep their soldiers exposed, Brian, because it was in their national interest. President Biden, I know people who are in the room, was arrogant about this. He was the smartest guy in the room. It was what he was saying. I know more about Afghanistan than anybody else, and we're going to get out. That was his decision, and he owns everything that took place after that decision. He could have reversed it and said, I agree with you. Let us stay, and let's make certain the force structure is right. We don't want ISIS. We don't want al-Qaeda to rise again. He made a decision, he set a date certain, and when the government began to collapse after the security forces had no air support whatsoever, President Ghani came to Washington, D.C. to see President Biden and ask him, you pulled away all of the air support. I need contractors to keep my own Air Force flying. His decision was to pull them away as well. The fact is, even when the withdrawal was turning into a retreat, he still could have set some conditions down and said, whoa, wait a second. This looks like Saigon. We're not going to do this. I told the American people, this is not going to happen. So what options did he have then? Tell the Taliban, we're not going to leave until we get all of the people out that we want to get out of here, and we're going to do it in an orderly manner. I'm going to bring more troops in, not just to secure the towers at the airfield, but to secure space around the airfield so we can clear everybody who's coming into that airfield. And believe me, Mr. Taliban leader, we know where you are now. You used to be up in the mountains and hiding from us. Now you're occupying all the physical structures of the previous government. So we'll come for you if you don't adhere to our conditions. He had plenty of opportunity to set a predictable, methodical withdrawal as opposed to a chaotic retreat. And that is what unfolded in front of the American people. You can't now come back and try to remake this in front of the American people. They saw it for what it is, regardless of what their view was on stay, leave Afghanistan. Our allies saw it. They felt humiliated by the United States. And our adversaries have been taking advantage of us, Brian, ever since that decision and what we all saw on our videos what took place there. They have felt the United States is weak, and they've been coming for us ever since.
Yes, our enemies, our allies doubt us, and our enemies think we're vulnerable. Hence, we get the invasion of Ukraine. They weave in Ukraine in this as if we show how the world came together after. A couple of things. NATO wanted to stay, and people like you wanted to stay. Why? Where is it? It's right by Iran. It is right by China, right by Russia, right by Pakistan. All our enemies are right there. We have a looking glass on all of them, a way to get intelligence. You explain that to the American people. You keep a small force. The benefits, we would have understood it. There was no clamor. Number two, he had a chance. McKenzie got a call from the Taliban commander. Are you going to take the airport? Are you going to take Kabul, or are we? The army is collapsing. And what happened? We only want the airport. You can take Kabul. And the Taliban end up being our security force. It's astounding he's for that. And I just got one last question for you. On the leaking of the Ukrainian offensive, the battle plans by the Pentagon inadvertently, how damaging that the Russians now have it.
Well, look, the Russians are very weak militarily, poorly led, poorly trained, no morale whatsoever. The last several weeks, they've been conducting an offensive using the 300,000 mobilized forces that Putin has put together, and they failed. They have not taken the territory in the Donbass region. This is the second time they've had abject failure. Nothing is going to change in terms of Russian weakness. The will of the Ukrainian fighting force is very significant. They will take territory back as a result of their offensive, despite the leak. But the leak is outrageous. We've given the enemy an advantage they don't deserve to have, for sure.
Incredible. General, thanks so much for straightening out the record the best we can. Appreciate it. Have a great Easter.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.